Welcome back to TNLP, the newsletter podcast brought to you by the HazMat Guys. I'm your host, Timmy, back with this week's latest hazmat news from around the country. But first, it's no surprise that the biggest story again this week. The HazMat Guys just dropped their new book, You Suck at Teaching Hazmat, a guide to a more engaging delivery for any audience. And just in time for the holiday season. Whether you're training the next generation of hazmat legends, or just trying to get through your next class without everyone falling asleep, this book is your roadmap to success. Let's face it, your students deserve better. Order your copy now at thehazmatguys.com. Starting off this week's top hazmat news, we head to the Big Apple, where a West Village smoke shop was hit in a firebombing attack as 6 suspects were seen fleeing the early morning blaze. Police were probing a firebombing on a West Village smoke shop after unknown objects were hurled through the window and exploded early Wednesday, authorities said. Roughly 6 suspects were spotted tossing the object after breaking the window of the Christopher Street shopfront just after 3 a.m., cops said. FDNY crews responded to the scene following reports that a fire had broken out inside the building, which also houses a barber shop. The bomb squad was also on the scene early Wednesday as police investigated whether it was arson. A video obtained by the Post showed 2 suspects lobbing 2 objects through the storefront window. The first suspect approached with a bottle that was already ablaze, according to the video. The second suspect lit what sources said appeared to be a high-powered M80-type firework and quickly chucked it at the store. The 2 objects combined created an inferno that briefly blinded out the surveillance cameras while the suspects staggered away. Flames were seen shooting upwards almost like a geyser while the suspected firework continued to fizzle. Interior surveillance footage showed smoke filling the store while the fire burned near the window. Some items typically sold at smoke shops, including e-cigarette juice, are highly flammable. Sources told the Post that they believe the first object chucked at the shop was a Molotov cocktail based on a glass paper towel that was found at the scene. M80 fireworks have been banned under federal law since 1966 because of the large amounts of explosive composition they contain, according to the American Pyrotechnics Association. It's unclear what the other incendiary objects thrown at the store may have been. Alarmed residents told the Post they were woken up by a big boom and feared a bomb had gone off. My initial thought was that it was a bomb, said Jamin Ekstead, who has lived in the West Village for 20 years. I was like, we are in the West Village. Like, what's really around here? It didn't feel like there is something to target in this neighborhood. I thought it was like lightning because, we had a storm earlier in the day. But I looked out, and there were no signs of a storm. So immediately, I thought it was like something suspicious. Max Giuliani, who grew up in the neighborhood, added, I got a bunch of my neighbors saying, "What was that? What was that?" It was an explosion I've never heard before. It really rattled the neighborhood. The fire marshal was working to determine the cause of the blaze, police said. The suspects were spotted running away. Their descriptions were not immediately released. Scary stuff. Next up, a truck driver falls asleep spilling ethanol on I-271 in Medina County. According to troopers, WOIO brings us the story. A truck driver fell asleep and lost control of his tanker truck, carrying 8,000 gallons of ethanol early Wednesday morning, according to Ohio State Highway Patrol, OSHP troopers. At around 4 a.m., the truck overturned, spilling about 4,000 gallons of the ethanol on I-271. All lanes in both directions of I-271 between Route 94 and Brecksville Road were closed, while firefighters, police, and a hazardous materials team worked to safely clean the spill from the median. The tanker was removed from the roadway around noon, and one I-271 southbound lane was reopened by 2:20 p.m. A little before 3 p.m., a northbound lane was reopened. According to Granger Fire Lieutenant Jonathan Tibbs, the ethanol was contained to the median, and all remaining ethanol that was contained behind the dams was safely transferred into containment tanks. According to Grander Township, World Truck will remain on the scene until it is done removing all the contaminated soil from the median. Now, the OSHP, ODOT, and the EPA have taken over the incident area for continued assessment and any necessary follow-up actions. Motorists should be aware that some lane restrictions may remain in place as agencies complete their work. Please use caution traveling through this area while cleanup continues, said a release from the Granger Township Fire Department. No other vehicles were involved in the crash. The truck driver was transported to a local hospital for evaluation. According to troopers, alcohol and drugs do not appear to be a factor in the crash. Troopers added that the trucker is employed by HOC Transport. We appreciate the public's patience as crews work diligently to secure the area and ensure the safety of everyone involved, said Lieutenant Tibbs. Our top priority is containing the spill, protecting the community, and reopening the roadway as soon as it is safe to do so. Rounding out this week's top stories, we'll conclude with our most recent report that Highway 35 eastbound closed in Brazoria County after a rollover crash led to a hazmat spill. Drivers traveling through Brazoria County are facing significant delays due to a hazardous materials incident that has forced a traffic detour on State Highway 35. According to the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office, all eastbound lanes of SH 35 are closed near Bar X Ranch because of the incident. A spokesperson for the Texas Department of Transportation said crews can't start cleaning the spill until the molten sulfur the truck was carrying can cool. Crews must wait 24 hours for the load to cool. The timer started at 7 a.m. Monday, so crews can start to clean up the spill at 7 a.m. Tuesday. There is no danger to the area or the road, TXDOT said. TXDOT said the crash happened at 1 a.m. Monday when the truck driver lost control of the truck, hit a fence, and overturned. The driver of the truck did not have major injuries, Brazoria County officials said. The Department of Public Safety would lead the investigation into the crash. The Brazoria County Fire Marshal's office said 1,200 to 2,000 gallons were spilled. Officials say the load spilled into the ditch and had not reached nearby Mill Bayou. Specialists are monitoring the environment. To keep traffic moving, authorities say eastbound traffic is being diverted into the westbound lanes, which are operating in a counterflow configuration, while hazmat crews work to safely clear the scene. Officials are urging drivers to expect delays, follow all traffic control devices and personnel, and use caution while traveling through the area. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Newsletter Podcast. But before we go, reminder that Hazard Class is back and crazier than ever. Season 2 is streaming now. Don't miss hypnotherapists, psychic mediums, government conspiracies, and even more surprises. Catch up on Season 1 and learn more about Hazard Class at thehazmatguys.com/hazardclass. We'll be back next week. Until then, Timmy, over and out.